I'm having a very fun time torturing the podcasters. I want to destroy these podcasters. They're so mean. I did quite a bit of damage to the podcasters, sadly. Welcome to week 2 of Escape the Readathon, you cruise goers. If you're new here, my name is Vanessa. I hope that you're enjoying your cruise. So this week, I will be reading against Team Podcasters, and I thought it'd be kind of fun to mix up the reading a little bit because I haven't read some just wild and wacky stories in a hot minute. So I have actually asked a few of my Game Master friends to help me out. So we all know that sentient object romance doesn't always get a lot of love. Go on their Goodreads or Storygraph, and sometimes these books are like 2 stars, 2.5. They're really, really low. And I will preface this with, not every single sentient object book is written well, but it's not meant to be written well. It's not meant to have really good plot, character progression, anything like that. It is meant for purely entertainment. At least that's how I take it. So when I read these books, I rate them based on pure enjoyment of the book. Like, did I have a good time? Did I think it was funny? Did it surprise me? Because sometimes these stories go a little deeper and not in a sexual way than you think. So I've given a couple of my Game Master friends some book selections. Some of these have been on my TBR for a minute, and I really, really want to read from these authors and give them a chance and just have a good time. But here's the twist. I said, hey, can you guys pick the book you want me to read based on 1-star reviews? And these are about to be a hella funny time. So without further ado, let's get started with Monica, who is joining me this week reading against Team Podcasters. So let's see what Monica has chosen for me to read first. So I think I'm gonna put you guys here for a moment while I watch Monica's video. Actually, I will put it up here so you guys can see.
Hey Vanessa, thanks so much for asking me to help you pick your TBR for this week. You gave me 3 options of books and then asked me to look at the 1-star reviews and pick one that spoke to me. Well, I picked one 1-star review from each of these books, and I'm going to share them without telling you which book each one is, and then I'll tell you which book is my selection. I just had so much fun reading these 1-star reviews. These are all sentient object erotica, so you can imagine some of the reviews are going to be a little unhinged. I picked ones that are relatively vague, but also get across the point of why they were 1-star reads. So starting off, the 3 books that we are choosing from today are Taken by My TBR by Holly Wilde, Stuffed by Sylvia Morrow, or Rake by Nicole Parker. Now let's get into these 1-star reviews, shall we? The first one actually made me cackle out loud when I read it. And the review goes like this. Nowadays, you can write about an unflushed toilet seat and still make it to the bestsellers list. And that is true, my friend. However, this book is not about an unflushed toilet seat. None of the 3 of these books are, so I thought this was just really funny to add in. But let's move on to review number 2, shall we? Review number 2 says, I read this sober, but I swear I felt like I was on something because half the sentences I read were out of this world. Yeah, I can see where this review would feel very true. I love this, and I feel like this sometimes even when I'm not reading about sentient object erotica, so yeah, I can imagine where that would fit into these 3 as well. And now for review number 3. In my defense, I read this as a joke after it was sent to me by a friend. What the actual F is this book? That friend can now pay for my therapy. Yeah, honestly, I love it. I love all of these reviews. I love what they say about the book, and I cannot wait to hear your thoughts once you have read them. So now we go to my choice. Which book do I want? Which book do I tell you to read? Yeah, this was a hard choice. However, I have chosen my favorite review, and that one is, I read this sober, but I swear I felt like I was on something. And this review was for Taken by My TBR by Holly Wilde. This is about a sentient book pile, and this feels very appropriate for an avid reader. So I hope you love it, and I am very impatiently awaiting your own review, and I really hope that it is better than 1 star.
Okay, this is gonna be hella funny because I really, really want to read this book, and that's perfect because literally this is Monica choosing one of my books on my TBR for the week. So I think she literally labeled her video your 1-star TBR. Taken by My TBR by Holly Wilde is going to be the book that I start off with. So let's kind of see what this book is all about. I don't think this author is going to be at Monster Erotica, but we're gonna have a great time regardless. This is a 67-page book. Holly Wild, you missed the opportunity there to get to 69. I mean, it could be 69 pages, but Goodreads just has it listed as 67 pages. This is a paranormal romance. This is what it's labeled as. These are the genres. But the paranormal here is that it's a sentient object. But it says what happens when the book you're immersed in becomes immersed in you. Tossing and turning doesn't just apply to a restless night in bed. It also is what happens when you can't find a book to quench your mood reader thirst. Turning pages and tossing books into the growing TBR stack is how Paige spends her night. I like that name for this book. Unfortunately for her, giving up on her night of reading isn't an option. When her stack of books comes to life, they make their intention tonight is the night the TBR gets its finish. The only question is, will the happy ending lead to a happily ever after? So this is going to be very funny. There is a little note. It's a compilation of many popular genres in the literary and romance world. As a result, it includes certain tropes and themes that may not suit all readers. Please check the content warnings before curling up and becoming one with this book. I am here for this. I would be absolutely terrified if the books on my TBR came to life. Some of you may know that there's probably more books that are unread on my shelves than are actually read, which is kind of a problem. So my TBR would take me pretty hard. So without further ado, we're gonna get straight into reading and we're gonna see what it's like to be taken by my TBR. Thank you so much, Monica, for agreeing to participate in this little mini collab. I appreciate you helping me out here because I think this is gonna be a wild and fun ride. No pun intended. So I just finished the book that Monica gave me called Taken by My TBR by Holly Wild, and I really liked it. Basically, it starts out with this girl who is a reader. She loves books. She's got lots of books on her shelves, kind of like myself. I feel like this book is relevant. Let's just say relevant in some ways. I'll clarify in a second. But she has a lot of books on her shelves and she is kind of like mood reading. She's trying to figure out what book she wants to pick up. So as she is mood reading, she picks up a book and she reads maybe like the first chapter or whatever, decides, no, that's not the mood. I think the first book she picked up was like a fantasy book, so there's like a dragon. And she decides like, oh no, that's not for me right now. Like, I think I want something different. Then there's another story that like involves a knife or something. I can't remember exactly what happened, but there was a knife and she was like, that's a little scary right now. I'm gonna put that away. She's like, well, let me try like a different route. Let me try a dark romance. And she likes it, but she's like, it's not really the mood right now. Then she tries another book, like a fourth book that has something to do with like a sea monster. Again, decides not what she wants to read. So she's kind of feeling defeated. She's in bed and she's like, well, I'm not really sure what to read on my TBR. As she is going to bed, her TBR comes to life and it kind of makes this like amalgamation of the 4 books that she just picked up and put down. I'm gonna read the like actual quote. So it says, it's a horrifying realization that I'm beneath a monstrous fusion of literary worlds. This isn't just the dragon rider on top of me. He's also the man with the knife and the skull-masked villain. My mind reels, struggling to comprehend what I'm seeing as I mentally check off each character I've read about. Slowly recalling that I had 4 books piled onto my chair, I begin to freak out because I've forgotten what the other book was about. That is until the tentacle, thick and purple, unfurls from his mouth like a tongue and licks up the side of my face. The 4th book was about a sea monster, and now it's here, ready to drown me in a twisted mix of lust and longing. The funny quote for this one was, since when did it switch from me tackling my TBR to you tackling me? Yep. This is the part where I was like, this is not relevant, but it's relevant that I like have a bunch of books on my TBR and haven't read them. Not relevant that books come to life and attack me sexually. There were some other like cringy quotes, like you spread your legs even better than you spread your pages, especially as they're getting a little frisky. And another quote that really I found funny was, all we ever ask for is to be finished, and that's exactly what I'm going to give you. They're yearning to reach the end. But tonight you learned that not everyone gets their happily ever after. He's seriously threatening to leave me unsatisfied right after giving me the most torturous orgasm of my life? That's like, damn, your TBR just did you dirty right now. So then this part was kind of weird. Tropes of cum burst from his book hood as he holds me in place. I can feel the unspoken words between us filling me. The plan of immersing myself in my books tonight has flipped on its head, and now my book is immersing every drop of himself within me. What? Anyways, there's no cuddling, no sweet tender moments between us. This was all about him, making sure he got his happy ending and exacting his revenge to DNF me. Y'all, that was so funny. I think I'm gonna give this a 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed it. Like, I thought the premise of the story was like really interesting and executed pretty well. I had a great time and it surprised me. So yeah, I took that 1 star and it basically ends up being a 5-star on Goodreads because I round up. Oh, at the end, like after the epilogue and stuff, it has a coming soon section, so it tells you like what books Holly Wilde is going to be writing next. One of the stories that she had on the shelf was Queen Queef, and then another story was the Peen Invaders. So apparently there's a new story called Queen Queef and the Peen Invaders. A newly bequeathed queen tries to save her kingdom from the Peen Isle invaders, all while guarding her heart from the dragon rider who slayed her father. And then this one was hilarious because it sounds kind of like a follow-up. So at the end of the book, she was like packing away her physical TBR because she was like, I can't be done dirty like that again. And then her Kindle lights up, her e-reader or whatever. So the book that's in the back of Coming Soon is Taken by My Tablet, the TBR's Resurgence. So it says, Paige is haunted by what happens to her last night. To take her mind off of the bookish beast who ravaged her body and claimed her heart, she pulls out her tablet and hopes to get lost in a book. However, the night takes an unexpected turn when her TBR comes back to life, this time using her algorithm to try to win her over. So I looked for it and I didn't see this one out yet, so I don't know when it's coming out, but that will be exciting to read. Anyways, I'm gonna try the next book, which I think is also a Holly Wilde book. So this might turn out to be a Holly Wilde vlog. We'll see. So I asked Kim over at Kimberly Reads to also do a video for me, and I gave her actually 4 books this time. So let's see what Kim has chosen for me to read. I'm very excited to see what she picked because I was just on sprints with her and it sounds like she was really excited to film this. So I think it's gonna be a really fun time to see what she picks. So let's see.
Oh my gosh, Vanessa, thank you so much for asking me to do this. I think this is the funniest concept, to pick books based on the 1-star reviews and then asking booktubers to pick them for you. Genius. Like, literally genius.
I didn't just pick booktubers, I picked game masters because I thought this would be hilarious.
So I am so excited about this. So Vanessa gave me a couple of choices to pick from. So first up, we have Pounded by Produce. We really got to talk about this first review. I love this one. Anyone who gets viscerally angry about vegetables and sex, you know it's going to be a good review. Who on God's green earth goes to the farmer's market, picks up a tomato and cucumber, brings them back to their kitchen job, and thinks I'm going to shove a tomato up my vag? And girl, what if the tomato pops? Now you have tomato guts all up in your vag. Emily probably only likes Robert and Lauren as vegetables. And GM Fairy is so weird for writing this book because she said, and I quote, "We've all had a crush on this cucumber, aka Larry from the VeggieTales. Like, Miss Girl, this is a Christian show made for kids. Only you have a crush on a cucumber." I can tell you right now, a lot of people had a crush on that cucumber. It's like if Challengers was bad and filled with too much produce and Catholic guilt. That sounds pretty good. Next up, and this one is a little bit scarier, is The Deviled Egg Made Me Do It. And I love that the very first 1-star review is just cluck cluck. I don't know what that means, and I'm a little scared. This is great. She was way too calm with an Eggman being in her house. I think this is winning. I feel like this is winning so far. This one seems kind of scary. Like horror, erotica, maybe. I don't know, but Eggman. I eat eggs every day, and now I'm scarred for life. Why didn't anyone question how and why? Again, cluck cluck, tap me out. What does that mean? Like...
Girl, I don't know, but we're about to find out, maybe, if you pick this book.
This was winning. This is winning. This one beats the first one out. Read this as a joke that someone recommended. Will be cursing them with my last breath. Sarah! Well, Sarah apparently knew what she was doing because I may be Sarah and I may be making Vanessa read this one. We are moving on to Mating with the Mantis. First 1-star review I see, loved the ending, hated literally everything else, including that I chose to read this. See, this is a good one. 1.5 star. It's not a 1 star, it's 1.5 star. Help. This was so bad, but I was cackling throughout it and having such a fun time. I love that. Even though it's bad, it could still be a good time. The ultimate justification for humanity coming to an end one day, and all of us who have read it probably should take accountability for justifying the end days. Okay. I still think the deviled egg made me do it is winning. And the very last one is Triceratops and Bottoms. Yet again, I feel like this is a very classic romance cover. Like, look at it. It just looks like one of those Regency romance covers if you replace the man with a Triceratops. First 1-star review I see. I don't know how dinosaurs acted, but it certainly wasn't like this. I will never eat dino nuggets again. Read for the laughs, was horrified instead.
Hold up. You know what is so funny? She literally has a little dinosaur in the background, a little pink dinosaur. It's like a Triceratops.
TikTok had me curious. Should have stayed curious. I wish I could give this negative stars. Who the heck in their right mind would write about dinosaurs screwing? This should never be read ever. If you are planning to read it, it took me 38 minutes. That was so specific. Like, how did you know? Like, were you timing yourself while you read this? 38 minutes is such a specific time, but that's good to know. So Vanessa, if I pick this one, it should only take you about 38 minutes to read it. I think after reading all of those 1-star reviews, I think it has to go to Eggman. It's gotta go to The Deviled Egg Made Me Do It by Holly Wilde. Triceratops and Bottoms was close. It was close. It was very, very close because of how traumatized these people seem to be. But I gotta know what Cluck Cluck is, so I really need you to read it and tell me what's up with the Cluck Cluck reviews. So anyway, there's your choice. I hope you enjoy it way more than these 1-star reviews did. And I expect to see a 5-star, okay? I expect to see a 5-star out of this one.
Well, let's see if I can turn a 1-star into a 5-star, because I feel like some people just don't understand the premise of sentient object romance or like weird romance. It's not meant to be good smut. Like, it's not meant to be realistic. Like, no, people should not stick cucumbers and other vegetables up their vag. And no, people should not be fucking deviled eggs. No, they shouldn't be doing these things. This is more for pure entertainment because it's just obnoxious and funny. Like, just have fun with the book, okay? I'm not over here trying to stick these things up anywhere. Like, no. So anyways, I'm gonna see if I enjoy this book. I really appreciate you for picking this book for me, Kim. Thank you so, so much. I laughed. I mean, obviously you're seeing my reaction to it, but like, I giggled at your commentary. So I can't wait to tell you what cluck cluck means. So let's get into it. It is the next morning and I have just found out what cluck cluck means. Okay, so let's kind of dissect this book. So first of all, it sounds like I don't even know how to talk about this. So I'm probably just gonna read you the descriptions. So we have Shelby, who is getting ready for like a dinner party of some sort. It sounds like maybe it's like an Easter party because there's like deviled eggs involved and ham and things like throughout the story. Anyways, so she meets Damien, who is the deviled egg. All right, and they get kind of hot and frisky. Oh, I should have said hot and whiskey. You know, like you whisk up some eggs. Okay. It's a little early. I haven't had my coffee yet, so the jokes aren't hitting just yet. But this monster is the most masculine man I've seen in a while. Muscles carved from a diet of lean protein are covered in curls of green hair that smell like chives. Yes, the drapes match the carpet. Because they are, and I just can't wait to run my fingers through the tufts covering his chest. Like a living Easter egg, the bold stripes, zigzags, and polka dots swirl around his rotund bulk in vibrant hues of pink, yellow, green, and blue. Tattooed pecs and biceps flex as he strokes his lower half, a horned rooster covered in designs as intricate as the ones on his body. Mesmerized, I watch his hand wrap around a eggplant that's as thick as a baguette. What the heck? And nearly as long? That's too big, okay? That's a little too big. Beating the beastly thing like he's making an omelet, he strokes down to the tuft of pubic herbs before squeezing back up. The egg-shaped head tipped with tiny horns glistens as he fists himself. Why am I reading this? Oh my god, Kim, what'd you do to me? The interesting part about this, because I was like, where are these eggs coming from? I mean, he's like a deviled egg, right? But he has a tail. So he's got a front, you know, appendage, but he's also got a tail, like a devil, right? So movement catches my attention, and I look down to see he has a tail like the true devil he is. Lumps string along like beads until they disappear into his back. The bulbs forming his tail are egg-shaped, and there has to be at least 20 of them in all. Okay, yes, these eggs go inside of her. A little gross, okay? Yes, I will admit that was probably a little gross. Well, then, you know, his is yellow and thick and creamy and spicy. She says it's the most decadent thing she's ever dined on. This one's really, really gross. So, you know, they're doing the deed, and she's like, oh shit, like my little party's about to start. I think there's like 15 minutes left before everyone's gonna get there. So Damien says, you go take a shower, I will go deal with getting the party ready. So she says that she gets into the shower. She's focusing on like washing up. She's like a lovesick bunny that can't wait to hop back to Damien. I was like, that's so corny. But then she has to basically like wipe his off. Most of it has to go in the trash is what she said. Okay, this is probably really gross. I'm sorry, everyone. Then she finishes showering up, right? She goes to meet with Damien in the kitchen, and Damien's putting the final touches on the deviled eggs. He grabs a pair of cutting like kitchen shears, and he uses a bit of chives from the space above his balls. And he sprinkles it on top. Right after this, Damien asks her, which do you like more, what you see or what you taste? Oh my gosh. And then the guests finally start arriving. They sit down to have their little meal or whatever. And the guests are all like, man, these deviled eggs are amazing. Like, what makes them so creamy? Like, what's your secret recipe? And these chives, oh my gosh, they taste so fresh. I've never had fresh herbs like this before. This one was a little gross. But yeah, it was interesting. Let's just say that. Holly Wilde definitely delivers, because in her author's note for this book, she says that this is the wild world, wild with an E, where anything and everything can come to life, or just come. If you're searching to escape the boundaries of reality that we are so often confined to, then look no further. So yeah, she's definitely got some weird shit in her books for sure. Oh, I never told you guys what cluck cluck means. So basically Damien is like sticking his egg tail inside of her, and she's like, oh, I can't take anymore, like it's so much. And he's like, that's not the safe word. The safe word is cluck cluck. Oh my gosh. I am dead. I'm dying. Like, I can't. What is this? That was probably the funniest part of this book. But anyways, I'm gonna figure out what I'm reading next. I don't know. I have 2 books that I got from Monster Erotica this weekend that I'm looking forward to getting into. So the first one is Stuffed. Well, this one's Overstuffed. So this is a omnibus that has stuffed, overstuffed, and I think the stuffed shorts. So yeah, this cover is really cute, and this also has like sprayed edges. So I was very excited to pick this up. And let me show you something else. If you saw a little goldfish with me this weekend, this is Carl. Meet Carl. Yeah, I'm gonna hold him like boys hold their fishing catches. So anyways, Carl is apparently in this book, you see? But it should be relatively short. This is stuffed, these pages here. And then it looks like double stuffed is here. And then there's some other like shorts and things that come up. But I have to show you guys like the back of this book. It's so cute. Oh my gosh. And Sylvia Morrow is just like the cutest human being ever. So we have this book, right? Okay. I also met Nicole Parker at Monster Erotica, and she had this omnibus of 10 books of the Kyleverse called Objectified. So like sentient object romance, Objectified. And it contains these 10 books here. I forgot to get the one that was Kyle's version. I was too caught up talking to her and telling her that my partner's name is Kyle. So I will probably pick one of the books in this to read. I did pick a couple of books from here to give to the people who were selecting my books. So we'll see if any of those get chosen. If not, I'll just read from one of these or both of these because they're really short. And I like, you know, terrorizing the podcasters this week because they were so mean to me before. And when I say they were mean to me, they were just telling me to get out of their chat because obviously they don't want any of the game masters there. But I, you know, as you probably have seen on Discord, I just like dip around into everybody's chats and have some fun. I'm causing chaos, you know, that's my name. Okay. Anyways, Carl and I are probably going to go get to some reading because we have some damage to do to the podcasters. Alrighty, so I think I've decided which book I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with Stuffed by Sylvia Morrow, and I just found out that the first book in this series has an audiobook that's narrated by Raven Wildwood and Richard Pendragon. So I bought that to listen to because why not? I love supporting Sylvia. So let me tell you a little bit about what Stuffed is about. So just remember that this is the omnibus that contains like all of the books. So I'm going to be talking about the first book. So we have anime obsessed Anne might be a fictophiliac, or she might just hate touch so much she'll never have sex. She doesn't really care about the difference as long as she has her favorite pillow to grind against when she needs physical relief. Anne's favorite pillow is more than just a feather-filled cotton sack. He's alive, but no one knows it. Hot, pulsing magic weaves between his fibers each time she touches him. All he wants is to be the man Anne needs. Soft, moldable, and ready to cater to her every desire. But when he has enough magic to become a man, will Anne accept his eager touch? Can flesh and fabric come together in erotic bliss? Will more than one of them end up fully stuffed? I love it. So Stuffed is a male-female living pillow romance best suited for ages 18 and up, and content warnings are available on the author's website. This is going to be really fun because, I mean, if you've met Sylvia, you know that she's freaking adorable. Like, hold up. Let me just put a picture right here because she's hella cute. I think I even got her Go Girl costume. So, like, you need to go read her books. And, again, let me just preface this with, these are not meant to be like, I want to fuck a pillow, okay? Like, no, it's a sentient object romance. It's supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be cute. Like, just have fun with it, okay? So let's see what Sylvia has in store for us. If you want the content notes, I'm going to put them up right here for you. And I'm already loving the first line. It says, holy shit, dude, ever hear of personal space? That's a way to hook you in. All right, I'm going to get to reading. Okay, so I have just finished the first book in this series, Stuffed. And yes, we did meet our lovely goldfish, Carl, but he's not a pillow, okay? Or at least not that we know of yet. So in this book, we have Anne, who is kind of like a germaphobe, doesn't like people touching her. And we find out, you know, she's been grinding on her pillow. She's your cute, like, anime nerd. She loves watching different anime, and she's, like, obsessed with this one, I think, Butler in the anime that she loves watching. There were, like, lots of little nods to different anime. We had Light from Death Note in there. There was, like, Sailor Moon. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm fangirling over this so hard. And, you know, she be humping her pillow, okay? Like, that's what she's doing. This is, like, her safe way of being sexually stimulated without having to touch another person because, again, she's a germaphobe. She's like, I don't like, you know, the sweatiness of people and just like touching people. Like, she's in therapy. She's been working on this stuff. Like, good for her. Well, little does she know that her pillow is sentient And we get a little backstory on that too, where the feathers that are in the pillow, there was a phoenix and a goose, and they are no longer living, but when this pillow was made, the feather happened to get into the pillow, so there was a little bit of magic in the pillow. And because of Anne's passion, the pillow kind of comes to life, okay? And it has this very special way of actually coming to life that you find out. I'm not going to spoil everything for you here, but I thought this was so cute. Like, the pillow was obsessed with her, and Anne was open-minded and willing to try it. Like, it was very cute. I think the narrators did a really wonderful job narrating the book, and I liked them so much that I bought the second one, which is Double Stuff. So I'm going to be starting that book next. So the whole reason I had chose this book was because it doesn't have like the best ratings on Goodreads. In fact, it has like a 2.51, which you're like, oh, I would never pick up a book that's that low rated. It's got over 4,000 ratings, but let me read you some of these 1-star reviews, and then I'm gonna tell you what my star rating is afterwards. You can probably guess what it is. We have no stars, none. And then they kind of wrote about maybe like why they didn't think that it was worth any stars, because there was definitely some like tentacle play, and let me just tell you, I am not a tentacle girly. Like, I think it's funny, I don't know, like I'm not yucking anybody's yum. I think it's interesting, but I'm not trying to have tentacles touch me. So there is some tentacle play in this. If you're not a fan of that, like, don't read the book, you know, it's not for you. But the review says, bro, what the fuck? Sew my eyes shut right fucking now. Hot channel, so her vagina. The way the FMC also referred to her vagina as her hoo-ha and slippery pussy, I've had enough. Also, the pillow fella referred to her ass as a thick rump. Please, I want to die. And yeah, tentacles, you read that right. A fucking pillow romance. I'm laughing, but it ain't funny. Well, your review was funny. That actually would make me want to read the book. Then the next comment under that was, I got a featherophobia? Is that it? I don't even know. This was way worse than the door one because it actually had decent writing, and if it's going downhill like this, I don't even know what the second book is. I did die laughing out of cringe though, not a total loss, I guess. But I like the idea of the DIY boyfriend. Imagine if that was actually possible. Like, I'd build myself a Henry Cavill, not gonna lie. Hell yeah, girl, I would too. There was one more interesting thing about these books though, the way the man just worshipped the girl, literally bro, was willing to do it all. Like, give these to men to read so they can learn a thing or two. So why was your review a 1 star? This guy was fucking amazing. He like was there for Anne, okay? And he was a fucking Build-A-Boyfriend, whatever. Well, if you could not tell, I thought this book was 5 stars. Like, I'm hella into it, okay? Like, again, I'm not trying to fuck my pillow, I'm not trying to fuck tentacles, but this was a hella fun time. And I think that Sylvia's writing was actually really good. She tends to write, like, I feel like sweeter romances, so she's not all about like your whips and chains, but yeah, there's some smut in here, right? She's fucking a pillow, okay? But again, you're going into the book, have some common sense that it's there for entertainment and for fun. Like, no, I don't think anyone's trying to fuck a pillow, unless I guess if they're trying to fuck a pillow, but whatever. Anyways, I'm ready to go into Double Stuffed, so I'm gonna get back to you and I will let you know how that is, because I'm ready to find out what, oh, the pillow, his name's Ori, so I'm ready to find out what Anne and Ori are up to, and then how lovely Carl is involved, because he seems to be a pillow here. He's not just a fish, okay? So I want to know what is going on. Oh my gosh, so we find out about Carl. Oh my gosh, I'm in love. So basically, Carl here is, they went to Build-A-Bear, okay? They decided that Ori needs to get out of the house, so they go to the mall, which I'm assuming is the Mall of America, because I think Sylvia might be from Minnesota. But they go to basically what is Build-A-Bear, and Ori is like, I know exactly what I want, and I beeline for the orange. It has like a brain instead of a heart, so like they put the brain in, and I think you get to say a message, right? And so he says something like, oh, I will love Anne forever. You know what? Does this have one of those? Because that'd be fucking amazing. Maybe I should do that, because I can unzip him, you know? That was so cute! Oh my gosh! I'm in love with this story. Okay, I'm gonna keep reading. Okay, a little clarification. So, yes, the goldfish is Carl, but like the actual goldfish, the little stuffed animal that he makes, they name him Luffy after One Piece. Like, how could you not like this story if you're an anime manga lover? Oh my god, I'm dying. I'm having the best time reading this because my partner and I are literally watching One Piece. Like, we're in the 700s right now. I think there's over 1,000 episodes. So the fact that there's like these little Easter eggs dropped throughout the whole story with like Sailor Moon and Death Note and One Piece, like stories that I love. I'm just in heaven right now reading this book. Oh my gosh. How could anybody rate this 1 star? Okay, speaking of star ratings, so this book has a 2.96 with 968 ratings. So let's take a look at the 1 star reviews. Absolutely not. I must hate myself. Double stuffed, more like double it and give it to the next person. Them turning their pet fish into a human to join in on the fuck fest, literally no. Please God, no. Okay, but it's you know, okay, a fish is really not sentient, but it's not, you know, it's a shifter. He's a shifter, okay? Please, I'm just trying to meet my goal. Oh my gosh, I need therapy. This is the worst day of my life and I'm questioning this woman's sanity. Y'all are crazy. I don't know how y'all don't like this. This is freaking gold. I'm having the best time of my life reading these books. Oh my gosh, like Sylvia's speaking my language. So what does that say about me? I am still reading Overstuffed. I decided that while I'm, you know, working on this book, I would put up a poll for the entire general chat. So this is across all teams, not just the podcasters team, that they're gonna pick my next book, okay? So I said help a girl out, and I'll put the final results up here, but these are all 1 star reviews for different books. So we have Booby Bra, we have The Carrots Didn't Deserve That, Why Are We Too Cheap to Buy Proper Lube, and You Did Not Just Do Avocado Toast Like That. Each of these book reviews corresponds to a book in the DNF bookstore series, which apparently is a series that focuses on really cringy writing. Like the writing and the smut, I'm assuming, is supposed to be so bad or so off-putting that it makes people want to DNF it. So I'm very curious about this. So the first book with the cherries corresponds to Bouncy. The second option with the banana corresponds to Spunky. The eggplant one corresponds to Hung. And the avocado one corresponds to Gooey. So just know it's a whole produce aisle up in here, and we're about to find out if these books are truly as bad as people think they are. So I finished the second book, Double Stuffed, and yes, the double stuffed is exactly what you think it is. So DP in human terms. So this was actually a pretty fun, cozy time. I think that it was really interesting having Carl added to the mix and learning how Carl came into the picture. I'm assuming that this might be Ori and that this might be Carl. I'm not sure who these people are yet, but I think that we're going to find out maybe in the stuffed shorts. But it sounds like there is a brother that's going to be in another story, and I'm not sure who the last person is. But it was really interesting having Ori kind of be like the mentor. He's definitely very possessive towards Anne and Carl as well. He loves Carl. And it was just really interesting that Ori was the mentor for Carl, even though Ori's like not really well versed in the human world. So he was kind of telling Carl how the sexual acts work and mating and pregnancy and all that. And while Anne and Carl are getting it on, Carl is just like, the voice actor reminded me of Kevin from Up. So like, just to kind of imagine, I am a fish, I do not know. Like, that's kind of the vibe I got. And he was very much like golden retriever energy. Like, he also would do anything for Anne. So this was just like so cute and so like wholesome in a way, like wholesome but spicy. But it did give me like the House in the Cerulean Sea vibes in a way, like where you just have these cute cozy characters, But then obviously you get like spicy at times, so I don't know if that's a very good comparison. I'm gonna look at the stuffed shorts and see how long they are because I'm trying to destroy the podcasters. So let me look at that real quick. All right, so I'm gonna take a little bit of a break from these stuffed shorts and everything. I'll probably come back to that another time, but my poll in the general chat finished finally, and the winner, as you can see, is Hung by Summer O'Toole. So I am going to read what this is about. So this is part of the DNF bookstore, and it has an eggplant on the cover. It says it's the cringiest book you'll ever read, so we will find out. So Alfie, everyone's favorite lactose intolerant foxy sidekick, is getting his own story in Hung, part of the DNF series. Alfie is a man in love the second he sees Georgie and quickly becomes as obsessed with her as he is with pumpkin spice lattes. Georgie finds herself equally smitten by Alfie, but a little intimidated by the not so little thing in his pants. Come along for the goofy ride as they make it fit, I mean work. All right, we are going to get into this one. But I'm currently like trying to organize these beads for bracelets into like actual letter, you know, some sort of organization, so it's easier to find the letters that I need. So I am listening to my book through Speechify, and the first chapter is really funny because we have Alfie who's trying to literally place a coffee order, and he's just so starstruck in a way, or he's got love in his eyes when he sees Georgie, and he is just so nervous. He's just saying random word vomit. I think the first thing that actually comes out of his mouth is like, will you marry me? And he's like, wait, sorry. But he goes, I know I just met you, and this might sound crazy, but I'm gonna marry you someday. I know I haven't made a spectacular first impression, so can I take you out tonight and try again? And he's like, well, that's what I planned to say, but the first thing that came out of his mouth was boobs. So it's already funny so far. So I have finished Hung, and that was so freaking cringy. I don't know if I've read a more cringy book. Let's just say just about any cringy thing you can think of was in this book. Like the way that they described their genitalia, the corny pickup lines that they had, everything from start to finish was so freaking cringy, and I can see why people would DNF, but I was so entertained. I was having a grand old time reading this. I found out that there is a challenge. So there is a DNF challenge bingo card where you find the cringiest moments from the DNF series and get a bingo. So this is the card. I'm gonna put it on the screen for you. But like we have pegging with a cucumber, when he stretches his bussy, when he swipes his fancy credit card along her slit, she literally trips and falls and lands on his eggplant. That happened in this book. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. When he see you Mondays in her medicine. Very curious about some of these. But there is also a book bracket, so you can go through and do kind of like March Madness style, like what's the most cringy, so like who's the winner. This one, I don't know. This one's pretty cringy, but now I'm like interested to read the rest. But I have been making really cute friendship bracelets, so I just finished making this one that says Febe, and it has like a little sword thing at the end. I just realized it's not even. Oh my gosh. Oh well. It's made. And I also made a bunch last night that just say mommy. So I don't know. I probably make some that say daddy. I went through last night and I just like organized all the letters into their respective letter boxes. So now I know like how much of each letter I have. The only frustrating thing is that the letters themselves are like different colors. So I have some that are gold, some that are silver, and some that are black. Because then you'll run out of a certain one. I'm like, well, now I gotta think of like what I can make out of this. But Bree sent me a video last night, so I'm gonna open this and I'm gonna watch it so you guys can watch with me.
Trying to make my thing look like a little style. Hello, Vanessa. This is Bree / Lockbooktician. And I'm on my bed because you said you wanted this video by 2 o'clock, by Tuesday. It's in Tuesday, but it's, girl, it is not early, and I forgot, but the edges are kind of laid, whatever. I come to you as a humble human being. What I'm gathering is you want me to tell you these are the 1 stars that got me. So I chose the book Rake. And when I say got me, I mean like, I feel like you should read it based off what they said. So 1 is called Rake. It's an erotic paranormal gardening romance. Okay? Okay? Listen, I'm just gonna go ahead and send you what I screenshotted because this is diabolical. One person said, "This is not the kind of rake I'm used to." Okay. Another one said, "In my defense, I read this as a joke after it was sent to me by a friend. What the actual fuck is this book? That friend can now pay for my therapy." And I say this to say, maybe it's a great book. I don't know. Maybe it's giving the people what they want. Okay? Now I'm going to choose one more 1-star. No. One of them is a spoiler. Imagine your vagine in a rake. Imagine that. Imagine it. Someone said, "If I thought I heard my rake talking to me, I would call my therapist and throw away the rake, but that's just me." That's funny. I think you should read this for the plot. For nothing else other than the plot. But there's several people talking about that they need a therapist here. Okay? I think as a therapist, give the people what they need. Yeah. Give the people what they need.
All right, you heard it. So Bree says that the people want the therapist to read this book. Okay, unfortunately, I picked up that book this weekend. So this is Objectified, which is the omnibus of the Kyleverse. So I think I might have shown this earlier, but Rake is literally the first book in this series. So we will give the people what they want. We need to know what the therapist actually thinks, right? So I guess here we go. In this book, I think I may have mentioned before, but Alfie meets Georgie and he's like head over heels in love with her. It's love at first sight. And he basically knows like he's going to marry her someday. Alfie is kind of awkward. So initially he just says boobs. And in his mind, he's asked her to marry her. Anyways, so throughout the story, they obviously have lots of sexual encounters with each other involving basically the whole produce aisle. I thought it was really funny that like one of the 1-star reviews was, I actually thought it was kind of adorable until they whipped out the whole produce section. Yes, they literally did whip out the whole produce section. And then I think somewhere, okay, why are we too cheap to buy proper lube? Yeah, that was a thing because I think they used olive oil. It would have been funnier, I guess, if they used vegetable oil because they like were in the well, olives are, Well, you shouldn't be sticking fruits and stuff up there anyways for both people. Let's just say that for both people, okay? There was actually some plot to this. So I was thinking, oh, it's gonna be like an eggplant shifter type of thing. No, they're like real humans. But there was plot to this because there was a stalker guy. He was one of Georgie's first customers ever at the coffee shop. Basically, he just kind of stalks her. And so his name's Neil. Alfie was like, nah, F that. I gotta protect my woman. So they ended up getting involved with like this witchy voodoo lady. I think she's a medium of some sort. And she basically, you know, has these ghosts scare the shit out of him. Neil ends up booking it. He's like, I'm out of this town. This is too much for me. So her problem is solved. And by the end, there is a happily ever after. So there was like romantic suspense in a way in this weird ass book. Yeah, it was definitely very cringy. I will say that. But like, I actually had a good time. So I think I'm gonna rate it 4 stars. Right, so I'm opening up the book. I never actually saw what Nicole Parker signed in here, but it says so many objects, so little time. Oh my gosh, that's cute. So then, right, we start off with Rake. An erotic paranormal gardening romance. I looked up the Kindle Unlimited version because sometimes those pictures come in color. Let me show you this adorable picture. How cute is that? Oh my gosh. I'll even show you like the color one right here because it's adorable. It's just so freaking cute. I love characters with colored hair. I mean, I have colored hair. So content considerations for people, all right? First and foremost, this is a sentient object romance, which means people will get down and dirty with a sentient object, but everything is consensual. In no particular order, there is explicit oral, vaginal, and anal sex, spanking, impact play, use of sex toys, some restraining, mild domination, and multiple partners. First sentence always gets me. Well, fuck, that didn't go how I planned it. All right, let's see how they did plan it. Dude, I am dying. So what happens in the beginning is that Taylor is saying, all right, I gotta go and like rake up all these leaves. So she goes out to the garage or whatever to get her rake, hears a loud crash. She's like, oh, I'm not dealing with this. Connor, I think, might be the rake, but he's kind of like, how did I get here? What the heck is going on? He's kind of freaking out. So as Taylor is going back into the house, she's like, I'm gonna call my friend over, right? Remember, this is the Kyle verse. Who shows up but Kyle? So Kyle shows up. They've been friends since the first day of college, and this got me, this line. Okay, Kyle and I have been friends since our first day of college. We were in the same dorm, and 5 minutes after meeting, I was word vomiting to him that I had never even been kissed in high school, and it was my mission to experience as many things as possible in college. Real cool, I know. Kyle chuckled and said, challenge accepted. Since then, he's both opened me up and stuffed me full. Neither of us are relationship types, and we're both totally cool remaining friends with benefits. I'm pretty sure I'm the one getting most of the benefits. I'm dying. And she's basically looking at him in his, inside his, like she's looking at his pants because she sees the dragon is, you know, awake. Anyways, I'm already loving this book, and I'm only on chapter 3. These chapters are super short, by the way. We finally got to the part where Kyle and Taylor like go out to the garage to investigate what is going on. She starts hearing like a voice in her head, and she discovers that it's the rake. I think Kyle goes like out of the garage to get something, but she discovers that this rake is actually a person named Connor, and he was cursed by this witch, Brittany, I guess. Like he slept with Brittany's sister or something and didn't realize. I don't know. So he ended up turning into a rake. That's how he's in this position. So he is actually a human that just got cursed to a rake. To undo the curse, they believe that Taylor has to kiss Connor. So she's kind of like, well, I gotta get Kyle out of here because I don't know, Kyle might get jealous or something. She like sends Kyle to go start the shower because apparently everybody in this world is sex obsessed. She ends up asking, where should I start kissing you first? And he's like, I don't know, I kind of think of the tongs as my head. So like, I don't have a picture of a rake, but like the top part, like so this, I guess, are the tongs, and then the pole would be the base. She's like, well, let me kiss the tongs first. So she kisses up there, and she's like, do you feel it like when I'm kissing you there? Like, what if I kiss here? And then she like moves down to the base. So she's like asking, and I guess the rake is moaning, but like in her head, and she starts getting turned on, and she's like, okay, he's a person, not a rake. He's a person, not a rake. Like, so she's saying that over and over in her head. And she is just so turned on that she decides to take off her shirt. So like, that's where we're at right now. Okay, so then the next chapter started. Again, so everybody in this world is very sex obsessed. So Connor is like, I gotta turn into a human so I can get my eggplant into this girl. Like, he's ready to bone her. So when she takes off her shirt, she starts like taking the rake and she's like rubbing it all over her chest. And it's like leaving scratch marks on her. He's like, you're like a bit of a masochist, aren't you? And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on in this book? So we're about to get into a spicy scene with a rake. He has not even turned into a human yet. He's still a rake. So just imagine that visual picture. Oh my god, if I had a rake, I would totally insert a random ass video clip of me literally playing with the rake. That would be so funny. That would be hilarious. Bree, this might be the point where I need therapy because, oh my gosh, okay, like I said, she is getting down and dirty with this rake, like just more so rubbing it on her. So she hasn't stuck anything anywhere yet, but she's kind of like, can a rake see you Monday? Like, can they actually do things? He's like, I don't know. But anyway, so she's, you know, full on playing with herself as she is talking to this rake, or mind talking to him. Kyle walks out. Kyle is like in his towel. He's like, hey Taylor, like, what are you doing? I have the shower running. I've been like waiting for you. Yeah, can you just imagine? I don't know if the rake is moving, like it's able to move, or if it's just talking, but like, could you just imagine walking into your friends with benefits and just see them playing with themselves in the garage? Like, I don't even know. And now I'm wondering if this is the point in the story. I'm on chapter 11, so I'm wondering if this is the point in the story where the multiple partners is coming into play, because Kyle and Connor are about to meet each other. I think I read something I didn't want to read. Okay, so basically, she's about to explain to Kyle what she's doing, and she goes, Kyle, I had the sudden urge to fuck that rake. You can watch, join, or get the fuck out. Like, all right, how do you want to do this? And she's like, this is why I love Kyle. No questions asked, just orgasms. She basically says, Kyle, first I want you to cane me with him. I don't even know what that means. I mean it, the rake. And then you're going to use the rake to F my kitty cat while you F my peach. Can you do that? I don't know if I needed that visual. This might be the point where I need therapy, Brie. All right, so it's so funny because later that day, after like raking up all the leaves and stuff and their sexual encounters, Kyle and Taylor go to bed and she's like, can we bring the rake too? And you know, again, he doesn't ask questions. He's like, this girl might be crazy, but whatever. The next morning, Anne wakes up and the rake isn't there, so she's like, what happened? Well, Connor wakes up in his bed. He remembers where she lives, and fortunately, she doesn't live that far, so he runs to her house and he's, you know, they live happily ever after, right? I think these two end up like maybe being in a relationship together, because now as I'm reading the pages after the epilogue that talk about the author and their books and everything like that, the Kyleverse series is where weird things happen to the people around Kyle, but his go with the flow, try anything attitude usually lead to a good time. The Kyleverse is a series of sentient object romance short stories. Kyle isn't the main character, but he shows up to help the plot in one way or another. The stories are sequential but can be read as standalones. So I thought that was freaking hilarious that Kyle is essentially like whatever you need him to be. I'm beating myself up because I didn't get the Kyle's version of Objectified, because there was one that had like Kyle's version on it and all of his stories from his point of view. I might have to get that the next time that I see Nicole Parker in person. But that was freaking 5 stars. Like, I didn't expect to like the Rake book so much. That was really fun. I had a great time reading it and it was a cute little short, very insta-lovey plot, like whatever. Okay, yes. You know, none of these stories are meant to be character development and everything like that. A little cringy with the Rake going in places, but like that's what you expect with a Rake. Where else are you gonna put it? You know, like what else are you gonna use? I'm not trying to do that, but you know what? I'm not gonna yuck Taylor's yum. She had fun with that Rake, okay? Anyways, I don't know what book I'm reading next because I don't have any more people who have given me poll responses or a video. So I'm going to figure out at least a couple more books for this vlog, I think. Unless you're tired of me. I'm hoping that this is turning out to be like really fun for people. Actually, you know what? I might read the next book in the series, Faulty, because I really want to know like how Kyle is involved in these books. And I'm kind of like, who's this Brittany girl that like turned Connor into a Rake, and is she gonna show up in another book? Because like that seems like the perfect segue, I suppose. So I will come back with whatever I decide to start next. For the next book, I'm actually going to limit the poll to just the podcasters, so they're technically going to be picking my next book. I gave them 4 hours to choose. We have Cold Sweat by Vera Valentine. So this is the Kool-Aid Man smut. We have Faulty by Nicole Parker. So it is the second book in the Kyleverse series with the Furby. And then the third book is Suck Mommy's Piss Flaps by Layla Moon. That was hard to say with a straight face, but let me read you some of the 1-star reviews that like really got me. I will show you guys the poll when it's all over and you'll see the 1-star reviews that I took from it. All right, so for Cold Sweat, I really liked this one. It said, Emily, maybe we shouldn't get each other Christmas presents anymore. But the one I ended up using for the poll is, my therapist will hear about this. So another therapist one. I will be taking no questions about why I read this. Oh, no, Podium Audio. This did not fulfill any of my fantasies. Okay, so there's an audiobook. I'm gonna have to go check that out because I can't wait. I feel like sometimes the audiobook for these is just on another level. Oh my gosh. I don't care if I was warned. I'm here to judge. Okay, all right. All right, so let's see what Faulty has as 1-star reviews. The cover does look creepy, but someone said no. This was very scary and I don't like it, and it will haunt my nightmares. Also, for copyright reasons, it's totally not a Furby type toy. It's called a Flurbo. Yes, we knew this. I'm scared. This was no, creepy and just too weird. Laugh my ass off, but I did laugh at just how weird and interesting it was. So 1 star for that. I need to know what this is about. Maybe I'll just read all 3 of these. Oh my gosh. And then Suck Mommy's Piss Flaps by Layla Moon. I will say one of the people that I met at Monster Erotica, Biblio Barbie, rated this 5 stars, and I think she has her own book. Actually, I really want to read that, but it's a little bit longer, so I might pick it up in a different vlog. She has it labeled as wet and weird. I don't know what this is about. We get it. You wear black lipstick and named yourself Uno, as in Uno reverse card, and you're weird. You're a weirdo. You don't fit in and you don't want to fit in. I don't know what that's about, but okay. The one I really liked was Let's Unpack This One. Don't do it. The cover lies. I don't know what the cover lies about. I mean, it's an erotic killer story. Oh, I didn't even, it's a horror. It's a horror, man. It's a horror erotica. Oh my gosh. Okay, what was this? I don't even know. Well, now I need to know. I need to know what the people want. I'm gonna do some work while that poll is going on, and then I'll come back in the afternoon and I will start whatever book they have chosen for me.
Time messing my life, swear I don't mind. Say that you'll stay holding me close, swear it's alright. Yeah. Baby, I feel the rush. Everything that you touch turns to gold. I know. Baby, I'm missing you. Everything that you do makes me love you. Oh.
So I decided to pick up Faulty next. I was waiting for the poll to end, and I think at the time Faulty was winning, so I ended up picking it up. It was creepy. Basically, yes, she fucks Furby, or it's because Furby's trademarked, it is Flurbo. Okay, it is a Furby-like toy. Flurbo has push pop flavored. It's like an orange creamsicle or something, I believe, is what the book said. But yeah, she has fun fucking Flurbo, and Kyle is involved. Kyle apparently works with her. At some point in the story, it came up where the girl, Chloe, was asking, like, aren't you like with somebody? And he's like, no, Connor and Taylor have their own thing. And so that those were the people from the first book. That was kind of cool seeing them come up. By the end of the story, Chloe and Flurbo have had some fun, spicy times. Then she runs into the toy shop guy who gives her the faulty Flurbo, and she's like, hey, do you have any other of those faulty toys? He ends up asking her out, so apparently Garrett and Chloe are a thing. It was a cute story. I didn't like it as much as the first one, but yeah, it was kind of creepy because I'm kind of like, Flurbo was also like self-cleaning, so he would get messy. Oh, he turned giant and he would get messy. I don't know. I don't know about this story. It was definitely creepy, but it was cute in a way. I liked it, but not as much as the last one. Anyways, I'm gonna read the poll winner. So the poll winner ended up being, my therapist will hear about this. So this one corresponds to Cold Sweat by Vera Valentine. And all I know is that this has the Kool-Aid Man on it. So I'm gonna read what it says. It's basically a parody male-female sentient object romance novella between a human woman and a large glass pitcher of cherry chill assist drink mix. No, that is not a metaphor. It's made of glass. Yes, I'm referring to exactly what you think I am. Yes, this was written by the same woman who wrote the door one and the balloons and the boat. At this point, you know what you're getting into, friends. So yes, this is going to be basically the Kool-Aid Man, but you know you can't use Kool-Aid Man, so it is Kool-Aid Man associated smut. I don't want to read the synopsis of this. I just kind of want to go into it. There is an audiobook, so I'm gonna listen to the audiobook because why not? I need to hear these yes in the way that I think they're gonna be heard, so let's get to it. Forgive my hair right now, it's just really floofy because I washed it after I got a massage and like a scalp massage today, and like my hair just smelled like peppermint, and I was like trying to get it out. It hasn't come out yet. So anyways, this is like washed fluffy hair that I've just let air dry. So I finished Cold Sweat by Vera Valentine, and I thought it was okay. It wasn't like my favorite, but I thought it was interesting because yes, the audio did go there with the oh yeah. Let me see if I could play it.
Make me your good little cup, Red. I'm so thirsty.
The fact that he calls her like a good little cup and he fills up her cup. Oh my gosh, I can't even. You have to hear this like last part.
So fucking perfect. You're gonna fucking train me, Jules. I'm gonna quench. I'm gonna...
Oh, yeah.
What? Oh my gosh. When I listened to that, I was like, I did not just hear the Kool-Aid man, essentially the Kool-Aid man. Oh, and then, okay, so they're like in the sauna or something, right? Doing this. He's red, so he gets his red juice everywhere. Obviously, he was engaging in sexual acts with her, and at some point, I don't remember where it was, it might have been like right after that. So their parents have just gotten married, and they're like, oh crap, like what do we do? Our parents are gonna know that we were doing stuff because the red Kool-Aid basically stains everything. She's like, how are we going to play this off? And he's like, oh, you know, when I was a kid, like I spilt before, and we can just say like I tripped and I spilled this time as well. She's like, but how, what about like the areas where they're concentrated? And I was like, I can't. Like, I can't. So like, yeah. Very cringy, funny cringy, I guess. No, I would not want this in a contemporary romance that I read, but like, it was funny, okay? It was really funny. Was it a 1 star? No, definitely not. I don't think any of these have been a 1 star so far, which is great. I'm having a very fun time torturing the podcasters and reading these smutty books. So I was looking for this one book. Somebody had suggested there was Ice Cube smut, basically. So I'm trying to find that book. So I think I found it. It's called Melt for Daddy by Holly Wild. So Holly Wild is getting a big ol' shout out in this video. So this one is a male sentient object mafia dark romance. Color me intrigued. Melt for Daddy is a standalone dark male romance that follows a mafia boss and the sentient object Ice Cube, who serendipitously shows up in his glass of whiskey. This is a dark book with dark themes, so please check all the warnings listed before diving into this tale of powerful men and their dangerous lives. So we have to go find the 1 star review. So let me see what we've got here. Oh, perfect. This probably has some because the rating is terrible, which I don't care about. I'm gonna have a great time. We actually don't have too many 1 star reviews for this book. I'm pretty sure he hallucinated a talking Ice Cube, killed his henchman, and got off on it. Holly is hilarious, but the constant daddy and a literal Ice Cube gave me the ick. That's not terrible. Then we have, nope. That was weird and not my cup of, well, anything. It was a quirky read, but I'd rather not imagine that ever again. And then we just have someone that just says, no. Yeah, so that's like the only 1 star reviews that I see. This book isn't too long. Let's try it. All right, I just read the content considerations. So we've got, you know, like daddy kink. We have some graphic, sometimes gory violence. Like, okay, cool. Anal with an Ice Cube. Cum eating fetish. Alrighty. I can't even get past the content warnings at this point. Lexie's about to spin for the new Game Masters. Yay! Alright, let's see who I get to read for next week.
Okay, who's next?
Hackers. This is scary.
Let's
It's like so interesting what I choose to wake up and start my day with, because I have started reading Melt for Daddy and I've just finished the first chapter, and so far what we have is like this fight scene that starts off. I think it's like a mafia boss who's just like kicking ass and taking names. He's pissed off. He sits down to drink a glass of alcohol of some sort. I don't know what he was drinking. I'm like looking for it. Whiskey. And all of a sudden, his Ice Cube starts talking to him. He's like, you need to cool down. The mafia boss is like, you better shut your effing mouth. The Ice Cube is like, what are you gonna do? Like, I'm a freaking Ice Cube. I'm a cube, but you're such a square. Like, you need to chill the heck out, right? The guy drinks, you know, his whiskey. The Ice Cube touches his lips, so he's like, ooh. So like without realizing it, he brings the whiskey to his mouth to drink, and the Ice Cube touches his lips. So the Ice Cube's kind of like sassing him a little bit, taunting him like, oh, like, I see what you're doing. I know your type. You're a man who grew up around testosterone-fueled feuds. Bloodshed and betrayal filled your youth. You rose to power, and now it's your turn to flex your fuckery. But deep down inside, you're just a little bitch who needs a daddy. Oh, right after the Ice Cube says that, he blows him an air kiss. Like, this is one sassy Ice Cube, and I'm here for it. We're about to find out what is going down with this Ice Cube and this mafia man. All right, so I'm reading beyond the first chapter, and we have the mafia daddy guy, whatever. He is mad at this. He just got anger problems is what I'm gathering. So he takes his glass and he like hurls it across the room, but as he like cocks his hand back, the ice cube falls out onto his neck. Then the ice cube drips down into his pants or whatever, and I'm not sure if he becomes like a full life-size human or just the size of a regular old ice cube, but a sexual encounter ensues, and it was actually really cringy to read. Well, now that encounter is over, and it sounds like he put his filled ice cube back in the whiskey glass and gives it to his henchman Diesel. And now Diesel has the glass, or hears the ice cube in the glass, and the ice cube is being sassy towards Diesel. So now I'm kind of like, what is about to happen? Is Diesel about to get some chill assist? I mean, that's kind of a reference to the last book with the cold sweat. I don't know about this book. I don't like this one as much, but it's weird. I'll give it that. All right, this story wasn't it. So this ended up going down as some sort of boss battle. I don't even know how to describe, like, the henchmen get really protective over this ice cube. I guess maybe because they want it, they want to profit off of it, or maybe they want the ice cube for themselves. I don't know. I guess it's pretty interesting if you have a talking ice cube. The mafia peeps are like duking it out, the boss and the henchmen, and eventually the boss gets his ice cube back. I feel so ridiculous talking about this because it's like fighting over an ice cube, a talking ice cube. The ice cube makes the mafia guy, I forget his name, makes him call him daddy throughout everything. By the end, you know, they're having another spicy scene involving a butthole and this ice cube. Again, I don't know if it's just the ice cube is like the size of this or something, or it turns into a full person. I'm assuming it's just this because just the way it sounds. There was a quote or like something at the end that I read that I just was laughing. So they're doing it, right? They're doing dirty things. This quote got me. Basically, he's saying, I know it shouldn't feel this delicious, but daddy knows I live a rough life both on the streets and in the sheets. And then like at some point he goes, I'm on my knees for not a god, a daddy, my daddy. This is so cringe. Oh my gosh. I mean, okay, yes, some of these other books I've been reading have been cringy, but I don't know, this one probably takes the cake for the most cringy. It beats out those DNF bookstore books, the ones with like the fruit on the cover. So yeah, this one is not my favorite. I'm probably leaning more like 3 stars with this one. I don't know, it just didn't get me. Maybe I wasn't here for ice cube smut in the morning. I don't know. Anyways, I am actually going to work on moving my monitors from the left side of my desk where I'm at right now to like in front of me where the camera's sitting. So that way when I stream and stuff, like my bookshelves are right behind me. I thought I liked this setup before, but it just kind of makes more sense to be this way. The only reason I didn't start this way was because where my desk surface is, I felt like the mouse was too far over to the right where it drops off into like where my printer sits. I don't know, I'm gonna try it. I'm probably gonna hate it and then I'm probably gonna put it back. So I'll let you know how that goes. But I'm gonna go log my book. I think this was my 8th book for reading against the podcasters this week, and I think I'm going for 9 or 10. I have 2 other books. So I know that last night Squeak won the poll by Vera Valentine, so I'm gonna read that. And then I happened to come across some other books last night that could count for pages. Of course, my Kindle library now is full of this stuff. Laid by the Lint Trap Monster sounds like a good time. It's only 15 pages. I'm not gonna be able to count it for a prompt against them, but I could count it as pages. I found out last night that I'm gonna be reading against the hackers next, so that will be starting tomorrow, Friday. And I'm trying to think about what kind of vlog I want to do next week, because I think having a vlog each week has been really motivating and helpful for me in terms of getting my reading done. I probably will slow down on my reading a little bit. I'm undecided if I want to do arcs or if I want to do monster romances. These wouldn't be crazy and wild like the ones that I'm reading this week. Some of the ones that interest me are Moth and Flame by Chiara Forestieri. Not sure if I'm saying that right. Cruel Devotion by J.P. Sinha. That's kind of more the monster romance I'm talking. Oh, and then there's like the Shrek one, Get in My Swamp by G.M. Ferry. It's an ogre love story. I'm unsure what I want to start, but then I have lots of arcs that I could do, like lots of really fun arcs. So like I just got approved for Ryan LaSalle's Dead Summer. I have some audiobooks that I could read, like mostly romance. Kind of want to like dip away from romance right now just because I've read a lot of romance. I'm looking maybe at more horror thriller stuff. I've got a couple of Darcy Coates books, How Bad Things Can Get. I can also read the next book in the Gravekeeper series. I forget what it's called. The one after The Whispering Dead. Yeah, I've got many arcs I could read. I probably should get to some of these. I will circle back around to finishing out the last 2 books for this vlog because I think I just want to do 2 more books. Maybe 3. We'll see. Maybe I'll get to 10. I want to destroy these podcasters. They're so mean. They're really not mean, okay? I feel like I've been really going to town on them being mean, but it's the nature. They want me out of their team because I probably read a lot, and they're like, no, you're taking away points from our team. So I get it. But now I will get to torture the hackers starting tomorrow. So you're welcome, podcasters, that I'm not sticking around. Yeah. So I think I was successful in like reorganizing my desk a little bit. So now my computers are in front of me instead of to the left of me. But I have been a little bit of a menace in some of the team chats. So I have actually asked the podcasters, because I will be leaving their team tomorrow. I said, do you guys want to help me get started on destroying the hackers? Because that's the team that I'm going to be reading for next. They decided that because I have a lot of arcs to read, that my main focus for vlogs next week is going to be arcs. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to figure out what arc I might start with first. So let me go grab the box. So we have our lovely box here, and inside I have just about like every arc that I own currently in this box. So we're gonna find out what I'll be starting that vlog with. Let's go with this one. So we have All Secrets Die by Andrew Watts and Dale M. Nelson. This will be the first book for the Hackers vlog next week. You'll get to see my thoughts there. But I thought I'd give you a little update on the book that I finished last, which was Laid by the Lint Trap Monster. Honestly, I was really bored by that one. It was really short. It was like 14 pages. But I think the funniest thing about it was that his, was socks. So yeah, I mean, that was funny. It just didn't do it for me. There wasn't anything that was like hilarious that was just keeping me excited. So it just, I don't know, 2 stars. I am gonna start my last book for the vlog. This will be number 10. I'm gonna be reading Squeak by Vera Valentine, which I just know is balloon smut. I will update you guys when I finish that. Listen, okay, so basically you knew what you were getting yourself into when you signed up to read Squeak, if you've read Squeak. Like, Vera Valentine is very clear about what to expect in her books. When you read this book, you should go in knowing that there are going to be some wackadoodle things. There was one of the balloon shifter animals that their jizz tasted like a funnel cake. The other one tasted like caramel. Yep, okay. Anyways, I should probably tell you what this book is about, because that That was not the main takeaway. You have this art student named Poppy. Poppy is just going to the zoo drawing for her art class. She happens to meet Sebastian and Keen, and Sebastian and Keen are in a relationship together. However, Poppy kind of is like flirty towards Sebastian, and Keen's a little bit jealous about that. So there's a little bit of a tiff in the beginning. Eventually, it works itself out. Poppy is necessary for Sebastian and Keen because they have this whole backstory of what happened to them. There's some trigger warnings that have like some off-page slavery stuff going on. They were captives of this person named Zinna, and Zinna was always tormenting them while they were doing sexual things, kind of forcing them to be in certain circumstances, and they did not want to be in that. So one day they like escaped that situation. They're very like hesitant to trust somebody else that comes up in their lives. Well, at least Keen is. They need Poppy because she can draw these sigils or whatever. There is some stuff that goes on in the end. I don't want to spoil that for you, but basically it is a happily ever after, and there is a squeakquel. Yes, you heard that right. A book 2 in the series. And I'm debating just going ahead and reading it because why not? I kind of need to know what happens now. It's not like it left on a cliffhanger, but I am very curious to know more, and it's the same amount of pages, so I might just go ahead and read it. I don't think there's any more in the series. I think the Squeakverse is only these 2 books. So I might just give this a shot. Why not? I got some time. It's not Friday yet. It's like 3 in the afternoon. So here we go. But yeah, I really felt like Squeak was actually kind of wholesome. I didn't mind it. It wasn't like too smutty and too crazy. It had like a pretty good plot to it. There's a whole reason why they're in the situation they're in and why they're hesitant to trust. And then, you know, obviously they do have their spicy moments. Again, you know what you're getting into when you sign up for some of these shifter sentient object books. This one was more Omegaverse, so they were shifters into balloon animals to humans or whatever. I'm not gonna pretend to know like about Omegaverse because like that's not, I just don't know. But I am gonna try the Squeakquel, which is called Squeal. So here we go. I feel like I didn't really get answers in the second book, but we do see some of our familiar characters. Obviously, we have Poppy, we have Sebastian, and we have Keen, and they are just like navigating their relationship. Enter in a 4th person into the mix named Ronnie. You get a little bit of backstory about Ronnie, and he is kind of stuck in Zinna, whatever her name is, in her clutches, and he doesn't really know what to do other than what he's been told and created to do. But he has a friend named Maya that's with him that escapes, and she brings him along with her. After they escape, they somehow run into the tripod. So we have, you know, Keen, Sebastian, and Poppy, and they kind of figure out like how they're related to each other, whether it be familial or whether it be created. It was interesting. Like I liked this story overall. I feel like the stories together make a lot more sense, and I think my enjoyment of them is a little bit better when I read both of them back to back. I think there might be some more to the story, so it almost feels like incomplete, like we've just gotten some excerpts of a book. I think I liked the Squeakverse, whatever it's called, because it was cute. Like it really just kind of delves into them trying to navigate being a threesome and then being a foursome, and what it's like doing balloon people, and their magic system is just unique and interesting. But like overall, it just didn't feel like there was too much smut. You know, like sometimes you read these wackadoodle books and you're like, there's like too much smut going on. But in this case, I found that the amount of smut to plot ratio was pretty interesting. So yeah, I would be interested in reading more of this. I'm glad that my vlog didn't end on a dud or anything like that. But I think that is it for these books. I don't think the last one I really looked up any 1-star reviews. I think I just wanted to read it because it was a squeakquel. Yeah, I said squeakquel. I think that this was a pretty successful vlog in terms of reading 1-star reviews and kind of like seeing if I agreed or disagreed with them. I think that for the most part, I disagreed with these 1-star reviews. Like, I don't think I rated any of them 1 star. In fact, I found quite a few 4 and 5-star books that I can recommend, especially if people are looking for some like sort of weird sentient object or non-human love romances. So yeah, overall pretty successful week. I think that I read 11 books total. Please don't be alarmed. Again, they were 50-ish pages each, okay? Like some of them might have been 80 pages, but for the most part, these were just over 50 pages. I had a couple in there that were a little bit under the 50-page mark, so they didn't count for a prompt, but I did quite a bit of damage to the podcaster, sadly. I know Monica has done some damage too, so y'all are probably hurting quite a bit, and you're probably still stuck in your room by the time that we switch new game masters. But let me tell you kind of in order real quick my favorite books of this week. I'm gonna go with like the top 5. I think that Stuffed and Double Stuffed were my top 2 favorites, followed by Rake, which is the book that Bree chose for me to read. And then after that, I would say Taken by My TBR, which is one that Monica chose for me, and Hung, which I think the general chat might have chosen for me in Discord. Overall, I had a pretty fun time with most of these books. I definitely got a lot of laughs throughout the week, just a lot of very bizarre, crazy situations with these books. If you're someone who is interested in trying any of these books, please do remember that it is very different than reading like a fluffy contemporary romance or even a dark romance or a spicy book. These are meant to be just so wacky and crazy and just make you laugh. They're there for entertainment value. So overall, I hope that the vlog was entertaining to you. If you enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already, and I would love to hear if you've read any of these books down in the comments below. If not, leave me a balloon emoji. I definitely know there's a balloon emoji for the last 2 books that I read, Squeak and Squeal, which are balloon shifter romances. And I will catch you guys in the next vlog next week. Bye!